everyone and welcome to 9 Inch Charge. We're back with another Warscroll review. This is probably going to be the last one I do for Kruleboyz in a little while, and we're going to have a look at the Murknob with Belcha Banna. Murknobs are champion warriors amongst the Kruleboyz, and they revel in taking the heads of their adversaries, honestly or otherwise. They alone are granted the honour of carrying the Belcha Banners into battle, each a foul relic with all manner of strange powers. So just before we have a look at the strange powers of the Belcha Banna, please be sure to drop this video a like, and please consider clicking the subscribe button. The Murknob with Belcha Banna has a 5-inch move, a save of 4+, a bravery of 7 and 6 wounds. He carries the keywords Destruction, Orc War Clans, Orc, Kruleboyz, Hero, Totem, Murknob with Belcha Banna, and is a steal at 95 points. Straight away that he's a totem means that he can issue commands with a massive 18 inches to other units across the battlefield, so that's already a bit of a plus. He's quite hardy for one of these heroes for only 95 points. 6 wounds and a 4+ save is really nice. He's armed with a Murknob Cleaver, which has a range of 1 inch, has 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, rend 1 and damage 2, which is pretty nice. He comes with 2 abilities. The first one is the power of Kragnos. Each Belcha Banner is said to be linked to the mighty Kragnos. Certainly the terrible roars that emulate from these icons are capable of chasing away even the power of the arcane. When a friendly Kruleboyz Orc unit that is wholly within 12 inches of this unit is affected by a spell or the ability of an endless spell, you can roll a dice. On a 5+, ignore the effect of that spell or the effects of that endless spell's ability on that unit. I think this is really cool because it's basically a 5-up shrug on all enemy magic, and there's plenty of nasty magic around these days that can cause mortal wounds. What's also really interesting about it is that it's the effects of an endless spell. So, for example, you could get caught inside the Soul Snare Shackles, for example, and that's something that would slow up the movement of your army across a certain area on the battlefield, but on a 5-up you would ignore that effect. So that's really cool, that it's not just against wounds suffered, it's against the effects of the spell. So other spells, you know, we've got things that can impact movement in other ways, or give you negatives to hit or wound or things like that. So I think that's really cool that it just affects everything. In a way, it's much more wide-reaching than a ward save, although of course it only affects spells. It is a wholly within 12-inch ability, but out either side of him, that's 24 inches plus his base, so it isn't a bad size, and to be honest, he's a sort of unit that you're going to want to have marching along next to your main units anyway. I mean, he just looks right for being in and amongst your Gut Rippers. I don't think it's a coincidence that the banner is really reminiscent of the Gut Rippers' shields. His next ability is Breath of the Mire Drakes. Belcha Banners are typically built around the severed tongue of a Mire Drake, creatures so vile that even after their death there remains belch forth clouds of soul-shivering gas. At the start of the combat phase, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of this unit. On a 1, nothing happens. On a 2 to 5, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. And on a 6, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. That's quite nice. It's cool that he's got a little bit of mortal wound output on top of his attacks. I mean, what you're really taking him for is, firstly, if you need a cheap hero in your army, and someone who's able to issue commands all over the tabletop. Secondly, it is definitely mostly about that ability to be able to negate spells. Going to be brilliant against Lumineth Realm Lords and Tzeentch and all other manner of armies these days. But what I like the most is that chance to do a mortal wound on a 2+ or D3 mortals on a 6, just because it's so thematic, and as you know, I really love the narrative, and I really love to see the War Scrolls come alive, and I think this really does that. I think it's great that they have cut out the tongue of a Mire Drake and then stuck it on this banner, and its foul stench and cloud that comes around it actually wounds people because it's so poisonous and disgusting. Ultimately, he's a cheap hero with a bit of utility. I don't think his abilities are completely game-changing. I think that it's a nice little buff to have, and I think he does have a place because of his points costs. But I don't know if I'll see him in the local tournament scene. But again, just a really cool model, really great Warscroll, thematic again. I love the idea of this disgusting infected tongue that's roaming around the battlefield on top of a banner. So I personally hope to see him on the tabletop. Thanks very much for watching. This has been 9 Inch Charge, and I will catch you next time.